And I think I am live. I want to make sure that everything is working. I think so. Okay, perfect. Hello. Looking. Okay. Hello. This is Elisa. I am a medium and a spiritual teacher, and I decided to offer this space for a new moon meditation. I used to do this a lot actually in the past, and then for some time I kind of took a break from it, but I feel that we are in a moment, especially we've been in a long moment now, but we definitely are in a moment where we need probably the extra support. We need to find a way to definitely get back in touch with our inner wisdom and our deepest desires, needs, and feelings, and certainly to find a way back to peace. So, the idea for tonight is really just to share a few thoughts about what happens at new moon, what we can do right now. I definitely had in mind to talk about peace. And I would like to guide you into a very simple meditation. This meditation of this live is then going to stay here on my channel. So at whatever time really you cross path with this, it's totally okay to, do the meditation then or to, um, you know, get into the teachings or whatever is going to come through. I believe that, there is a right divine timing. Sometimes we find things that even if it's not new moon in Cancer anymore, who cares? So the idea right now is that, of course, the sky, we want to say is dark, right? Because the moon is actually not shining its light. And I feel like there is a metaphor when this happens that really, because the moon corresponds to our emotional world, corresponds to water. So it definitely um, signals, I want to say, a moment where we can take advantage of it and go within. Get in touch with, as I said in the beginning, right, our deepest needs and desires. Um, Simply because energetically it might be easier. This is a time where, it's like when we plant the seed, right? The journey of the seed that gets planted in the dirt and it needs to stay in the dark for a certain time, right? To be able to sprout and then reach its goal of becoming whatever it's supposed to become. So and new moon of course happens many times a year, 13 to be precise, and so we have definitely different chances to go back to this cycle of reconnecting within. So when I think of the sign of Cancer, I am not an astrologer, but I did study astrology on my own for a very long time, and I'm still passionate about it. So I still read about it and learn about it. Um, so this is definitely the sign of a feminine element, and it's the sign of sensitivity. It's also the sign, though, of control. And sometimes this control or need for control really expresses itself with the um, not wanting to show the vulnerability, not wanting to show that the emotions are there. And so, inevitably, when that happens, and this, can be true for everybody, not just for somebody who was born, under the sign of Cancer, we definitely part ways with a very important part of our inner life, right? So I want to say that this can give us the chance to maybe connect and dig up the intentions and the goals that have more to do with these reconnecting with our feminine side, whether we're a man or a woman, with reconnecting with that extreme sometimes desire or need for control, to reconnect with our, the vulnerability. If, you know, for anything, just for healing. And I received a download this morning, and it was very clear about the possibility to um, receive healing during this cycle, right? Deeper healing. And that might happen probably maybe through a message, right? Somebody that tells us something, shares something, or even just like, if we are intuitive and we maybe spend time meditating or connecting with our higher self, we might actually hear those four words that open up a deeper level of healing, right? And that is true whether we are grieving for somebody. As I said, I am a medium and I work a lot with people who, of course, have lost someone that they love. And the grieving process can be lengthy and unpredictable in many ways. And so um, there are I want to say that there are always new layers of that up until a certain time, right? And then things finally start to settle. But so there is, that grieving for somebody, or maybe we are just really um, feeling really challenged because it's time that we make decisions. It's time that we make some changes, and we know that those are going to cost us, so to speak, cost us leaving something behind or somebody behind, because we need to get on the next step of our journey, right? And we cannot continue doing things as we used to. Or maybe even it's just something that resonates with a feeling of fear, right? Of uncertainty in both our material and our material things, and in our sense of security, right? Because a lot of the things that we knew, or we used to know in a certain way, are definitely changing very, very fast. Um, and so, if you resonate with any of this, and even if not, even if, just like the idea of reconnecting or restoring peace called you, that is perfectly all right. And um, this is, the chance to use meditation, right? To maybe let that healing process happen, um, or maybe start, depending where we are, right, positioned, so to speak. There is also, a bigger, I want to say, collective level, that is the one that has to do with Mother Earth. Okay, so um, the sign of Cancer is associated with the fourth house, which is basically the house that represents the home, or the place where we feel at home. It represents like our psychological roots, and also our mother. And on a collective level, definitely, it touches the idea of Mother Earth. Um, that I think, as a sensitive, empathetic, intuitive person, you probably can feel, right, the tension and the injustice and the challenges that are happening every day, everywhere, all around us. And a lot of it really seems to be out of control. And it's true that we cannot control it or change it just in a snap of a finger. It would be fantastic, but unfortunately, I don't think that that's the case for anybody. But we can, anything that we can change, we can definitely change it starting from us, beginning from us. Um, and sometimes it can be really um, important to identify what is peace for you, what is peace for me, how does it feel like, honestly? Because there is maybe like okay, we hear the word peace and we figure maybe each one of us has his own image or metaphor or like sense for a general peace. But like when it comes to identifying peace for us, for ourselves, for like in our personal work, how does it feel like? How does it taste like? Looks like? How do you know that you are at peace? And this is not really like a superficial question. I think it is very important for every one of us to identify that. Um, because it helps us, first of all, to recognize when we are not at peace. And I would, go to say that I believe that a lot of people are not in peace these days. At peace these days, they're, challenged, troubled, concerned, disappointed, guarding their backs, feeling stressed out, and all those things do inflactionate and influence in a negative way our sense of peace. And when I'm talking about personal peace, I'm really talking about that, beautiful feeling of, being um, so connected and so aware and, also deeply, deeply, I want to say almost in a meditative state, right? In a place where, not that we are not unbothered, but because it doesn't have anything to do with not caring. It has a lot to do with knowing who we are, what is good for you, what is not. And when we identify something that's not good for you, then, we do have the courage and the clarity to step to the side or step in that space where, things feel different or feel peaceful again. Okay. So this could be a good time, really. And I always suggest, to have like pen and paper, just to take a moment and focus within on, what is peace like to me? And sometimes the best way to find that answer is to go the opposite way and ask yourself, do I feel peaceful right now? And or what makes me lose my peace? I know personally I would have a lot of answers for this. And sometimes it's a person that challenges us. Sometimes it's a situation. Sometimes it's both of those things together. Sometimes it's just the way that we worry about things without like relying on our spiritual powers or on our spiritual connection, on faith. So, as you can see, there are so many layers of this. Sometimes it can be a relationship that, for as much as we pour love into it and patience and acceptance and everything that we have, we are really challenged to be at peace as human, and not in the way where sometimes, some we maybe have a confrontation with somebody, and then of course, we end up having a discussion or even an argument, and then it makes sense, right, that we would kind of um, lose our sense of peace in that moment. But I'm talking about something that feels like it happens like consistently, or that it's way too present in your life, so much so that when that situation, person, or thought is not active, you do notice a difference in your energy. Okay, so, and the reason why this is important is because, we need to learn when and where we're not feeling at peace so we can start making better choices. And the thing is, for me, that, there cannot be outer peace if we cannot understand, at least begin to understand our inner peace. And I'm not saying that it's easy, because honestly, like when you think about the whole shebang of life, with keeping up with the bills, creating things you want to create, enjoy your life, exercise, eat well, whatever, you have, it is a lot these days to be a human that tries to function at its highest level, and it should not be this complicated. And those things as well, I feel, they can take us away from our sense of peace very, very easily. Um, where was I going with that? So anyway, consider all of these pieces and see where they fit in you. And yeah, I was saying that, we cannot really have outer peace if we cannot even recognize what inner peace feels, tastes, is like for us. Because anyway, from a spiritual, metaphysical perspective, anyway, right? What it's outside of us, it's a reflection of what's within us. And this is a law that plays out in many different ways. And, it takes the bravest to begin to hold in place the vibration of peace more often than not, to begin to change things. I think that there is still too much. I am against war philosophy, and not enough I am pro peace philosophy. You can't fight the problems at the same level of the people that have created those problems or that are continuing those problems. There is a deeper or higher, I don't know how to say, a level, of course, of everything that is going on, that is really coming down to the fight of consciousness. Like the light, definitely, I want to put it this way, okay? Light fighting the darkness, or the other way around. And so that is a fact. That is something that, we can also consider when looking at what's going on around us. And I don't know yet exactly how we are to fight back, or unravel this old system of thinking and of doing things without falling into the same level. Okay, but I promise, as soon as this information eventually should come to me, I will share it. But I think that beginning with us, and beginning with how not only we foster peace within us, but also we decide to, be the peace element when we go outside, bring that sense of groundedness, bring that sense of expansion, faith, hope, trust. Um, Not that somebody else outside of us will take care of everything, but that we are actually contributing. This is what we need to know, that we are actually contributing every day with what we do and with our choices to the restoration of peace. I don't know, this is a very big topic and subject, and I'm really curious to know where and how it will land with anybody that will listen to this eventually. But I felt like I needed to do this, and so this is why I'm here. So this being said, um, I want to take a moment to guide a very short meditation. Like, it's meditation is good, and I think that if we're able to master 15 to 30 minutes every day, that would be fantastic. But we're not always, every one of us, at the same level. We don't always have the same time, each day of the week. So I totally understand that, but I'm already like putting forward a little effort to making that happen. And you know, um, because this is supposed to be a short live with the intention to start something within you, right? To help you think at what's going on from a different perspective. Okay, I will guide a very short meditation, but before I go there, um, if you are liking this, or if you would like to hear more about this, or anything that has to do with spirit and like expanding our consciousness and everything else that as a medium I can talk about, like subscribe to my channel so that I know you're interested. And if you want to work together, go to my website, lisapalmahancock.com, or um, to my calendar directly, and I will put the link maybe in the comments below the video. And today, starting from, actually, really, at whatever point you're listening or hearing, watching this video, that's okay. But like in general, and for right now, and for the next few days, like 2 or 3 days after today, right? Take a moment to journal on this, to begin to identify what peace is for you, and begin also to identify how these things are playing in your life. So like the fear of expressing or knowing your emotions, or your need to control the outcomes of things in your life, or like the how much room you're giving into your feminine side, right? Because the feminine, we want to remember, it's our intuition, it's our sensitivity, it's our receptivity, right? It's our creativity. It also has, of course, shade elements, just like the masculine does, and those are, the control, the fear of letting go, um, and also definitely kind of like falling into the clingy expression of the feminine power, that at the point is not power anymore. It's really just like depending on the masculine because we don't trust the feminine energy within us. All right. Again, there is a lot to unpack here, but consider these elements and consider if you were to create some intentions for you, right? Which intentions would you create, right? What feels right for the next 4 weeks? Something that you would like to work towards consciously, something that you would like to see happen in your life, and they can definitely revolve around these subjects, but also they can revolve around a deeper healing, for example, right, of a pattern or a situation that you it's bothering you, it's painful for you, and maybe you reach the point where you don't really know or have anything left to do. And so at this point, the best way or the best thing to do is to let go. About that, I actually also pulled out a card that I will share at the end. So if you would like to close your eyes for a moment now, and just, I always suggest that when we meditate, we have our feet on the ground, and that we sit up straight as much as possible. A, because it's more difficult to fall asleep in that way, and B, because we let our energy flow freely. Okay, and so as you go within, I just want you to pay attention to the beautiful energy that it's you, right? You can feel as soon as we close our eyes, something very magic happens. That is, that we become aware of our inner world a little bit more, right? We kind of open up space and slow down time and get into a space, into a place that is that feels eternal, right? Where time really doesn't matter that much. And so as you let yourself go deeper and deeper, you know, behind the darkness that your closed eyes have created, I want you to pay attention to your breath. And as you do that, Notice how deep or fast your breath is. And if you become aware that your breath is very shallow or very fast, maybe it's blocked in your throat or at your chest area, just observing, just listening. You want to take a moment and do everything that you need to be doing to just slow down your breath, to make it go deeper, to imagine as if every time you breathe, you literally let like this beautiful wave of relaxation going through you from your head all the way to your feet. And imagine how this wave of relaxation is just loosening up everything. It's loosening up your thoughts, your tight muscles, your worries. It's taking away from you anything that doesn't really belong here right this moment, anything that does not serve, and everyone and anything that you can go back to it right after this. Okay, they're not important right now. Your inner wisdom, your inner you is the most important thing. And so take a couple more of these deep breaths. Just let everything slow down and literally bring in this state of deep relaxation and peace. And now, very simply, just like that, you can ask your wiser self, right, to come forward. And just notice, maybe pay attention to how that feels to you. Maybe it's a sense of expansion, maybe it's a feeling of love, maybe it's a chill along your spine. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that wisdom is right there. It's always been there, and it's there to help you and guide you. So take a moment to bring into focus now what is challenging your peace. And maybe you've had the answer for a very long time. Maybe it's just the thought of making a choice that feels so challenging that it's taking away your peace. You can't sleep good. Maybe it's, as I said, everything you've been seeing around you. Maybe it's something that's happening to you personally. Maybe it's a combination of these things. It doesn't really matter, but just, feel into what you want to bring into focus right now. And keep on breathing deeply and just letting this awareness surfacing. Many times we might find that something that is happening is related to somebody else or a situation composed by many people. And sometimes it's really like we are at the center of it, like we created everything, we usually do, but like we are really responsible for the most part of everything. And the idea here is not to ever point fingers or pass judgment, it's really just to become aware. And what do you need to do right now? What do you need to do to extend peace to this person, situation, choice, decision, um, fear, what have you? Ask that you're shown a way that your wisest self helps you and shows you a way in any way that is better for you to restore that peace, to find that peace again within yourself. And sometimes the peace just really looks like, I can't anymore because I've done everything I could, and now I just have to let go. Sometimes we have to let go to God, to the Holy Spirit, to the universe. Sometimes we have to let go of control or of having an answer in the way that we think we need to have that answer. Again, it doesn't really matter. This space is for you. And it's okay if it feels challenging, if it feels like something that you don't know that you can do or how to do it, because guess what? You don't have to do it all alone. You're asking your wiser self for support, and you're letting spirit, the universe, however you identify that, God, to just show you a better way. Because your purest intention right now is to restore peace within you. So keep on breathing deeply and just remember that this wave of relaxation is still running through you, all through your body, taking away everything, the pain, the tears, the anger, the fear, anything that does not serve you, because it will just remove you from feeling at peace. And as you breathe into this space that you have created, this healing space that you have opened yourself up to, I want you to imagine, what if you could extend this prayer for peace to the ones out there that you know that they're not at peace. Maybe it's a friend, maybe it's a parent or a family member, maybe it's somebody that we only know online, maybe it's the people who are making decisions without really listening to the needs of everyone involved. And I think you can guess what I'm talking about. Um, what if we could extend a prayer that peace find them, that peace find their mind, that peace illuminate their mind? We don't have to know how or why, we just have to know that it is possible. And with spirit, everything is possible, really. And we have to be the ones who hold that beautiful, powerful, loving thought of peace in place. So take another deep breath. And I'm really asking you to find in your heart that certainty, even if it's just the little speckle, the little mustard seed that tells you, that confirms to you, that makes you, lets you know that there is a possibility for peace to be restored within and without you, within and without us. And as you breathe into this awareness, I just ask you to pay attention to whatever comes up, whatever surfaces, whatever intuition, image, knowing, feeling, emotion comes up for you. Again, you're just observing, lovingly observing, so that you can extend peace to every and all part of this. And I invite you to take a deeper breath now and hold that air for a moment and promise yourself that you will be working on your intentions and let the air out. And take another deep breath now and hold that breath for a second more and just promise yourself that you will be the guardian of your own inner peace so that you can be the guardian of the peace with a big P, and let the air out. And whenever you're ready, put your hand on your heart. Thank yourself for anything that's come forth for you. And, sometimes we need a moment to really make sense of everything. Sometimes the messages actually come delayed, maybe when we are even more open to be listening. But don't give up. And if you need to redo this meditation, you can redo it at any time. And so feel free to open your eyes whenever you're ready. And I want to leave you with this card that I pulled for tonight's new moon, which is go with the flow. I know the light is kind of, maybe you can see the picture like this. And it's interesting because I kept on receiving the input to talk about letting go, right? Because sometimes really we have to let go and let God. And I didn't think that this is exactly the meaning of this card. It's, just asking to us to let go of the control of how we think that things should happen or come to us or people should behave. And also, like maybe we put a lot of efforts in towards our goals and we are expecting the results, but we are too attached to how we want to see it happening, right? And so for this new moon, this card invites you to let things happen, to release the need of control, which is definitely a Cancer theme, to let go of expectations even, because sometimes we let go of expectations and then things come and they're better than we would have thought. How many times? So leaving you with these thoughts and leaving you with a prayer, really, for every one of us to begin to be more of that higher self that we all have and to act more as such. I bid you good night. Feel free to leave any questions or comments whenever you watch this video. Let me know if this was helpful, and especially, over time, if it's important that we keep on renewing our intention, right? It's like the same thing is like as watering the seeds that we have planted. So do not just think about it tonight for 3 minutes and then don't ever think about it until the next new moon, because we need to bring our intention are alive through our attention, our love, our nurturing thoughts, positive thoughts, as much as possible. So here it is. Thank you so much again. And if you have any questions, again, feel free to reach out to me and subscribe to my channel for the future meditations or videos that I will be posting.